So you said your daddy worked at the sugar mill?
My dad worked at the sugar mill, yes. He was the derrick operator. Mm-hmm. He would take the sugar cane out of the trailers they had, the cane trailers, and put them where they would go, I guess, on a conveyor belt, bring that into the refinery where they would do their whatever.
So the sugar mill burned in 1969. Mm-hmm. So he worked there up until it burned? Or did he do something else?
I don't recall. I don't think he worked there until it burned. When he left the refinery, I think he went to work at a potato factory in Laws's, which was on the way to Della. He also worked at the cotton gin.
Where was the cotton gin?
The cotton gin was on 92.
Going toward Milton, or?
Going towards Milton, but it was in the area where the post office is.
The post office in Milton?
In Youngsville.
In Youngsville. The current post office, right?
The current post office.
Because I heard the other post office was in the general store.
It was in the Longlinay general store.
Okay.
Yes, the Vigris and the Longlinays on that store.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And I heard there one of the postmasters was Mr. Duplex.
Yes.
Okay, and that was the house that just recently was moved to the deer farm.
Yes.
Okay. Because Miss Lola told me that she lived next door to them when she was growing up, where the roundabout is right now.
Right.
And that she played with the children, the Duplex children.
Right.
So did you and Miss Lola hang out some when y'all were? I know she's older than you.
She was older than I was. I remember her in school. Her and Nell Barlow. She was a Morval before she married Nell. And no, we were not of an age. I think when they graduated from high school, I was just going into high school.
Okay.
How old is she now? Can you tell me?
I want to say she's 86, 87, something like that.
I'm 82. So she was out of school when I went into high school. And the lower grades were not allowed upstairs.
Okay.
The upstairs were for 9th through 12th. And the lower grades were downstairs. And the high school were in the front of the school at the recesses and lunchtime, and the lower grades were behind the school in another area.
Did you take a lunch to school?
For a time, yes, but after a while they had a cafeteria that they opened up, and we started being able to have lunches.
What kind of things would you put in your lunch, or your mom put in your lunch?
Mama would fix peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Sometimes they were scrambled egg sandwiches with a little jar of milk. I always had my milk. I had to have my milk all the time.
How did it stay cold?
Well, it didn't.
Oh, it didn't?
It didn't. It was just, that's the way we lived.
And that's funny because I wouldn't even think about drinking milk that wasn't just ice cold.
Well,
that's what you get used to, I guess.
Now that was pure milk from the cow. It would not curdle or turn sour until possibly the next day.
Oh, okay.
And it would start with the very thick cream on the top after you had them in your bowls. You know, and after they were, when my daddy would milk his cow, I would go with my glass, and he would just do the teats.
Yes.
The milk would squirt in my glass. I always had 2 glasses.
Yeah.
With the foam and all. I had to have 2 glasses of milk all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, I would drink warm milk from the cow.
So you would have some milk and a peanut butter sandwich and
milk. Sometimes it was peanut butter sandwich, peanut butter and jelly. It was usually apple jelly, or sometimes it was scrambled eggs. Basically, that was it.
So, what was your favorite subject in school?
Literature and English.
Did you
Yes.
read a lot?
I read a lot, yes. When in the lower grades, I just had my school books. I didn't have any books at home. But when I got to the ninth grade, and we had the library, and of course I was able to get books from the library, and I always had books to read.
Was it the library in the school or?
In the school.
Yeah.
In the school.
Okay, because I
It
know
was
Miss Lola
upstairs.
told me she opened a library in her home,
Right.
which I think was the first library for Lafayette Parish.
Not for Lafayette Parish,
It
but
was
for Youngsville.
for Youngsville.
For Youngsville,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Well, good.
Uh, yes, that was the only library besides, because my daughter worked at the main library in Lafayette, the old library on Congress.
So, when you were growing up, I know we were talking about the Festival of Beauties. Were there any special family things, like reunions and things that your family would get together, and all of the Savoies and Simon, or?
Yes, it was mostly the Savoies at my grandmother's. She would do after Mass.
On Sundays.
She'd fix lunch early in the morning. We'd go to 11 o'clock Mass because we had catechism after Mass. And we'd come back for lunch at my grandmother's.
Seems like so many things kind of centered around the church activities.
It did.
Yeah. Would she do fried chicken or what would?
Well, gumbos, fried chicken. We had coleslaw, of course, because she had this huge garden that she grew many vegetables. And when harvested, they would can the vegetables. She had a big canner that she would put the jars in, and it would steam. That was put on the stove, and it would steam these vegetables, and they were the cover was sealed, so that would last 2-3 years.
Where would she store all this?
In her cabinets, in the kitchen. That's all I knew then.
So, like, there was really not a lot of stores that you could go to and buy these things. You would just do your.
After she harvested her stuff and canned, she would load some of the vegetable harvest and go to Youngsville and sell to some of the people there.
Where would she like pull up a truck on the side of the road? Or
She had a car. She had the first car in this area.
She did?
It was a Model T.
Really?
And I remember that old car.
So did she keep it a long time?
And and after that it was still a Ford, but I don't remember what it was called. But she had the first car in this area, and she would just bundle everyone into the car and off to church.
Do you remember when were you alive or aware of when they had the POW camp?
Oh, yes, I was.
At Foster Park?
Yes, I would see them on the way to school. And as a matter of fact, there are 4 ladies from Youngsville that married 4 of the guards.
I've heard that story.
You've heard that?
Yeah, but what are their names? Do you remember?
Yes. There was a Mr. Baker that married Isabel. What was their last name? It wasn't Landry. It was Isabel. Well, the Baker married Isabel. I'll think of the father's name after a while.
Yeah.
And it was a Danu that married Lillian Danu, and her house is still. She had a daughter, and then there was a Peacher that married. These were 3 sisters.
How do you spell Peacher?
Peacher.
Oh, okay.
And the Danu was Danyu.
Okay.
And Baker was regular Baker.
And they were prison guards?
Yes, and the 4th one married my husband's